Defining value. We all define value in our lives in different ways. We each have preferences for different materials, services, and products that we like to purchase. The way we value time varies based on the economy and culture we live in, our priorities in life, and what we do or do not enjoy spending our time doing. The word value is defined as the regard that something is held to deserve, the importance, worth, or usefulness of something. There is no one-size-fits-all model for how we each value the usefulness of something. That is unique to our own individual definitions of what is important to us. For example, I prefer to exchange the money I make to pay for travel and adventures like scuba diving. Other people prefer to purchase a home. One person buys a pair of boots based on the quality of the leather that they are made of, while another person chooses a different boot because it's made from vegan leather. The point is, we all define value in our lives differently. Value is unique to each person based on their needs, desires, and worldviews. Unfortunately, since the Industrial Revolution, Western business interests have conflated the way we value goods. A company is valued based on the profit or surplus of money people think it will create. For public companies, that translates into value on the stock exchange, which is more interlinked with social and governmental affairs than it is the actual value of the product or service the company offers. Our current models for how we value goods are not based on real value, but instead are based on perceived value. It costs Nike $30 to make a pair of sneakers, but they sell for over $120 because of the brand recognition. In July 2015, Uber was deemed the most valuable startup, but it never actually turned a profit until more than 6 years later. This version of value is based on how much privileged people can profit off of the artificially inflated value of a given commodity, and it's based within a system designed to increase global wealth inequality. Further, under our current version of capitalism, many businesses make decisions based solely on the bottom line, profit over all else. Shareholders are motivated to increase their profit margins, and the most obvious way to do this is to drive down expenses. This goal, to drive down costs, results in exploitative labor practices and widespread environmental degradation from unsustainable resource extraction methods. To be completely frank, the way we currently do capitalism, the way we currently do business, has created a lot of damage and exploitation in the world. In this pursuit of the lowest cost and highest profit margin, businesses and price-driven consumers are both prioritizing their individual wants and needs over the impact they create in the world. What's worse is the systemic nature of this bottom dollar form of capitalism. When business owners use exploitative labor practices, the employees who work for them remain trapped in a cycle of poverty, unable to achieve a surplus of income for themselves, in the form of savings and physical assets like homes. So what should value actually look like? There are two key components to defining value that I think we can all agree on. First is the quality, cost, and accessibility of the materials used. The second is the craftsmanship or expertise of the labor that went into creating it. These two things are what define the true value of a good or service. But there is one more thing that businesses can leverage to create value: the ethics or guiding principles that make their offering unique. That could mean something like valuing handmade or cruelty-free goods. It could also mean considering the impact a business creates in the world. Every action we take as an individual creates an impact, and the same goes for businesses, but the scale of that impact is much larger. Businesses who care about the impact they create in the world operate under a set of guiding principles that allows them to mitigate negative impacts their business could have, while optimizing the positive impacts it creates. This is a system that we call values-based pricing. Beyond simply looking at the cost of the materials for your product, people do not simply buy what you do, they buy why you do it, why you do business, what motivated you to offer this thing to the market, what core values go into how you offer this work to the world. I believe this system of values-based pricing is even more applicable to micro-enterprises because the very nature of what it means to be a solopreneur. Remember, becoming a solopreneur is about using your talents and skills to build the life you want to live. That also means connecting with your ideal ecosystem of clients, partners, and beneficiaries. Work is always better when it's spent with people you naturally connect with. What makes you unique as a person and the worldview you possess is what helps you to connect with the clients and partners that want to support your work. Further, by taking the time to examine the unique value you have to offer, you can begin to target your marketing and engagement efforts to attract your ideal community. Identifying your values and motivation will help you figure out your niche within your industry and where you could fit in within that ecosystem. By examining and communicating the impact you want your business to create for your client, it's easier to target and connect with the ecosystem to support your business. It also helps you feel more connected with people to feel more connected with you and your offering, improving customer loyalty. Your core values and guiding principles also tie back to the things we traditionally associate with value, the materials and labor that go into it. A 100% sustainably designed business is not accessible for most companies or most consumers. To create a world in which everyone can afford to purchase sustainably sourced products, we must meet people where they're at financially today and support them to increase their wealth over time to create new privilege for themselves and their communities. Our approach to supporting sustainable business development recognizes that we do not need to be perfect, but we can all do our best to minimize the negative impact we create and to become more sustainable over time. A sustainable approach to valuing materials and labor can look many different ways. Here are a few examples. Sourcing your raw materials as sustainably as possible or directly from producers. Working with companies who have fair labor practices and safe working conditions. Implementing fair labor practices for yourself. Considering what waste reduction or recycling programs you could use to process any waste that you create. In addition to designing your offering to be sustainable, it's important to consider your own value as well. So often entrepreneurs undervalue their own time, energy, and expertise. To sustain your business, you must recognize your own worth to ensure you are valuing yourself with dignity and respect. Let's try applying this idea of values-based pricing to a couple of examples. These examples are not meant to be conclusive. They are simply intended to get your brain thinking about different ways people define value, so you can start to think about how you wish to define value for yourself. Let's start with this company, DevP3. Our core values at DevP3 are centered around sustainability for people and the planet. We are going to break that down a little bit more specifically to illustrate how we use our core values to align with and therefore attract our ideal clients and partners. First, we will explore the guiding principles that go into our business by identifying a core value or guiding principles. This is our motivation for creating our business. It's our why. Next, we'll translate that why into our company's purpose to create a unique value proposition. core value or guiding principle for DevP3. We believe that bottom dollar business models that prioritize profit over all else are a root cause of the climate crisis and global wealth inequality. That translates into the purpose or unique value proposition of, that's why we focus on supporting sustainable business development to encourage the creation of businesses that consider the impact they create in the world. Our next core value or guiding principle. We understand that being 100% sustainable is a privilege many do not have. That translates into our purpose or UVP of, that's why we work under the premise of doing better. We recognize the need to meet people where they're at today and to support them to positively evolve over time. Our third core value or guiding principle is that we believe all people have something to offer the world that they can then be valued for. That translates into the purpose or UVP of, our goal is to help people have the business knowledge and strategy they need to use that something special to financially support themselves and their communities. Now let's examine the unique values of the material and labor used to create our offering. We have built our training program to be digital, so it's more accessible to more people with less travel and therefore lower cost and carbon emissions. We use a green web hosting provider to minimize our carbon footprint. We prioritize accessibility through our pricing model, scholarship program, and the way we design our courses. The only materials needed to complete our courses are an electronic device and something to write with. In this exercise, we have identified some of the core values or guiding principles that motivated us to create our offering. From there, we were able to create unique value propositions for our business. In business and marketing, the unique value proposition is a statement that clearly tells your potential customer how they will benefit from what you offer, how your product or services will address their needs and solve their problems, and what makes your offering different from the competition. Now let's look at a second example from a maker who runs a stone carving business in Richmond, Virginia. Their first core value or guiding principle is that jewelry is an adornment, a way to decorate yourself. Our individual styles reflect the unique person each of us is. That translates into the purpose or UVP of, that is why we hand carve our stone jewelry, to make each piece as unique as the person who wears it. Their next core value or guiding principle is that we believe in quality over quantity. That translates into the UVP of, we take the time needed to personally inspect all of our work to ensure the highest quality standards for each piece we send out. Their next core value and guiding principle is that we value traditional techniques and believe that any flaws or irregularities that happen from something being handmade only enhances the beauty of the piece. That translates into the UVP of, that's why our craftspeople are trained in traditional stone carving modalities and given the freedom they need to fully embody the creative expression that is unique to them as an artist. The value of the materials and labor used by this company include, we only use stones that have been directly sourced from miners around the world. This way, the people from the land where we are sourcing our stones are the ones who profit instead of the big exploitative mining companies with unfair and unsafe labor practices. Second, mining gemstones can be very destructive to the planet. By purchasing only sustainably sourced stones, we're helping to redefine the value of these natural resources based on extraction practices that are safe for both people and the planet. To ensure our artists feel valued, we allow them to set their own prices for their work based on their skills and expertise in hand carving. Finally, hand carving stone is a dangerous craft to do long term, causing many stone workers to develop carpal tunnel or other degenerative diseases in their hands and wrists. To mitigate some of that, we instilled a mandatory break period to ensure artists do not simply get in the zone and ignore their pain. We also contracted a physical therapist to develop a stretch and strengthening protocol to support our artist long term. Let's do one more example. This example is from an ex-corporate marketing professional turned solopreneur. Her first core value or guiding principle is that I believe in the power of connection. I am passionate about helping people to communicate their work to connect with their community through digital storytelling. That translates into the purpose or unique value proposition of, that is why I work one-on-one with small to medium-sized companies to illustrate their ideas with customized branding and marketing material. Her next core value or guiding principle, I am passionate about illustration and concise, effective storytelling. I enjoy helping people harness their vision to build a thriving company and community. And that translates into the UVP of, that is why I became a digital marketing professional, so that I could use my passions to directly support entrepreneurs to connect with their desired community of supporters, partners, and clients. Our next core value or guiding principle was, I love reviewing data and analytics. I find it thrilling to use analytics to come up with new strategies to increase my clients' digital presence. That translates into the UVP of, we harness the potential of data-driven strategies and techniques to increase our clients' online engagement and conversion rates without silly guessing games. The value of the materials and labor used by her company. I have 10 years of experience as a digital marketing professional. I possess a bachelor's degree in digital marketing and several certifications from Google and HubSpot. I have supported 125 clients. On average, I've been able to increase their engagement rate by 19% and their conversion rate by 12% in the first month. Her next unique piece of value is a purpose or impact-driven consideration. 5% of all of the profits from her business are donated to an organization with the goal of increasing the number of women of color in tech. These are 3 unique examples for how different people define value. It doesn't matter what industry or size your business is. Every business is created for a purpose. Ensuring there is more to that purpose than simply profit helps you to build your business to meet all your needs as a person, not just simply your financial needs. Taking a purpose-driven approach to your work will help you create the boundaries you need to sustain yourself long-term and the community of partners and clients that you need to fill your wallet and your sense of purpose. Now let's get to work on applying these concepts to your business. Start by reflecting on the following questions. First, what was your motivation or purpose for wanting to do this business? Second, what are the core values that inform the way you live your life and engage with others? Third, what impact do you hope to create for yourself and for others? 4, what are your reflections, ideas, or criticisms about the industry you wish to be a part of? 5, how does your work address or mitigate these challenges? 6, how can you use these things to differentiate yourself within this industry? Now that we've taken some time to reflect, let's get into our practical exercise. Complete the core value and purpose worksheet. Step 1. List your core values as an individual and for your business. Step 2. Choose your top 3 core values and turn them into a core values statement to identify the purpose or impact you wish to create with your business as it relates to the core value you identified. Pro tip, it can be helpful to start core value statement with "we believe" and purpose or impact statements with "that is why we." At the end of the worksheet, identify how you will create value in a sustainable way through the materials your business uses to ensure fair and safe labor practices, to minimize environmental destruction, and to repurpose waste. In this module of instruction, we defined the meaning of the word value and discussed how it is unique to each person as an individual. Then we explored the way current models of capitalism tend to base value off of profit, or the bottom line, over all else, and how this is a root cause of exploitation and environmental degradation. Next, we explored how we could redefine the value of the labor and materials that go into our business in order to make it more sustainable. Then, we introduced the idea of values-based pricing and purpose-driven business. Finally, we worked through the process of applying these concepts to our business by identifying our core values and then translating those core values into a unique value proposition to help us begin to define value as a purpose-driven company.